making them relevant to today's issues. Years ago, when we wrote the Kingian Nonviolence Leader's Manual and its corresponding training curriculum, we wanted to share the richness of Dr. King's philosophy and strategy with others. Time and events have carried us beyond what we could have ever anticipated. The Kingian Nonviolence curriculum has spread to all corners of the world, with thousands of trainers across multiple continents. It is being applied in social movements and educational institutions, ranging from elementary schools to universities, prisons, law enforcement agencies, churches, and community centers. It has been translated into multiple languages and has benefited countless individuals dedicated to creating a peaceful culture. The manual was never meant to be a meticulous academic study on nonviolence, to be taught and debated in the halls of academia. It was meant to be a point of departure toward a long-term journey of real-life application. It was meant for the practitioner, for people dealing with real-life issues. Haga illustrates this perfectly in the sections that follow. His training ground in nonviolence has not been a classroom. The lessons in this book were forged in the field, from working in violent prisons to leading social justice movements. The stories come from real-life application of and experimentation with the principles. This is how we know that nonviolence works. From the earliest stages of education, students are taught to accept violence as a normal and necessary part of our culture. We learn from history class that we are a violent nation. We learn about the history of war and violence with little attention paid to understanding the underlying social, psychological, and political causes and conditions that lead to violence. Violence, despite the countless ways in which it has destroyed lives and communities, despite the dignity that it rips away from people, despite the perpetual and cyclical nature in which it continues to harm society, is constantly justified and excused as acceptable behavior and even admirable behavior. Its tentacles stretch into every aspect of our lives. It is in our homes, our work, our sports, our music, our children's toys. Without knowing it, we have been trained to respond to conflict with violence. We view nonviolence not as the opposite of violence, but as its antidote. Nonviolence is about resisting the nature of violence and healing from its impact. Nonviolence challenges the seemingly peaceful nature of unjust conditions. When we are sold a story that war is an effective path to peace, we must resist that narrative. We must rebel. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested for being a troublemaker. Socrates was convicted for stirring up doubt in the minds of young people. Jesus was crucified for speaking out against the dominant paradigm. Nonviolence comes from a long tradition of disturbing the peace and challenging the accepted norm. Healing resistance continues that important tradition by disturbing many people's understandings of what it means to work for peace. Haga has added to what we initiated with the publication of the Kingian Nonviolence Leader's Manual. He has experimented with it and adapted it, and this book is the documentation of that process. For those already exposed to Kingian nonviolence, we hope this will be a catalyst for you to experiment and document your own work. For those new to Kingian nonviolence, this will be an invaluable introduction. Haga's writing style avoids the theoretical ways in which nonviolence is oftentimes discussed. You will be able to see yourself in the stories told in these chapters and engage directly with this book. When the Leader's Manual was first published, some saw it as an endpoint. But for us, we saw it as the beginning of a process of institutionalizing this knowledge. Institutionalization is not a static process that takes place in a university. It is a constantly evolving process. It is what is happening now at the East.